Jaya Mahavan. Kishigata Vamsi Vata Dvadasakanan. Kishigata Vamsi Vata Dvadasakanan. Yadhasabalila Koilo Shri Nanda Nandan. Yahasabalila Koilo Shri Nanda Nandan. Shri Nanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagan. Shri Nanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagan. Shri Damari Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsagan. Shri Damari Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsagan. Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Biranagari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abiranagari. Jaya Jaya Gopishvara Vrindavana Maj. Jaya Jaya Gopishvara Vrindavana Maj. Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Batu Dvijaraj. Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Batu Dvijaraj. Jaya Rama Ghata Jaya Rohini Nandan. Jaya Rama Ghata Jaya Rohini Nandan. Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasijata Jan. Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasijata Jan. Jaya Dvija Padni Jaya Naga Kanyagan. Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyagan. Govinda Charan. Bhakti Teja Hara Pailo Govinda Charan. Shri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam. Shri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam. Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarvamanoram. Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarvamanoram. Jaya Jaya Jvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar. Jaya Jaya Jvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar. Parakiya bhave jaya prajite prachar. Parakiya bhave jaya prajite prachar. Shri Janava Pada Padma Koriya Smaran. Shri Janava Pada Padma Koriya Smaran. Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nam Sankirtan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Can I end it? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
You want to keep going? Should I end it? Do you want to keep going?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
I think I go until they move the pieces.
Okay, and then I do Jai Radhe. Okay,
Let's go in the...
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So you got a while. The DJs are going to go on the
Okay.
outside. Curtains close, curtains open again, then you stop.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda. Radhe. Jaya Radha Kala Chanji Radha Kala Chanji Radhe. Jaya Radha Kala Chanji Radha Kala Chanji Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajagacharya Astottara Satashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Shri Julan Yatra Mahotsava Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
I think we'll skip Jai Radha Madhav. It's too late. Sorry? Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Together, please. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki. So, today we are discussing from Canto 8, Chapter 12, which is the pastime of Lord Shiva being bewildered by Mohini, Vishnu's form. And we are covering the second half of that chapter, verses 35 to 47. So in the first half of this chapter, we see that Lord Shiva hears from his sources that Vishnu has assumed this form of his beautiful woman as Mohini, and he bewildered all the Daityas, all the Asuras. And being naturally attracted to Krishna and Vishnu, he felt very eager to see this new, amazing form of the Lord. That's the nature of love, right? When you hear something new about your beloved, you want to see that. So Lord Shiva was very eager to witness this new form of the Lord. And so he rushed to Vishnu, and he offers beautiful prayers to Vishnu. And then Vishnu shows him the form. So we will see what happens. But before this, we saw that as Vishnu shows the form to Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva, the husband of Durga, Maya Devi herself, was so deeply bewildered by that beautiful form of the Lord, and he lost complete control and composure, and he ran after Mohini in order to embrace her, touch her. But then later, as he, in that excitement and in that rush to see her, he discharged semen, and right after that he restrained himself. He came to his senses. He realized what he was doing, and then after coming to his senses, we see now what really happens. So we can read translations from verses 35 onwards until the end of this chapter, and then we may pause in between some verses to make some comments, but we can start verse 35 onwards. Just quick prayers before that. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedant Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatar. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrind. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Yeah, we can start. Is there a mic? It's not there? Oh. So should I just read the translations? Or? Okay. Verse 35. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of kings, when Lord Shiva had fully discharged semen, he He could see how he himself had been victimized by the illusion created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus he restrained himself from any further Maya. Thus Lord Shiva could understand his position and that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has unlimited potencies. Having reached this understanding, he was not at all surprised by the wonderful way Lord Vishnu had acted upon him. Seeing Lord Shiva unagitated and unashamed, Lord Vishnu was very pleased. Thus he resumed his original form and spoke as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O best of the demigods, although you have been amply harassed because of my potency and assuming the form of a woman, you are established in your position. Therefore, may all good fortune be upon you. My dear Lord Shambhu, who within this material world but you can surpass my illusory energy? People are generally attached to sense enjoyment and conquered by its influence. Indeed, the influence of material nature is very difficult for them to surmount. The material external energy, Maya, who cooperates with me in creation and who is manifested in the three modes of nature, will not be able to bewilder you any longer. Shukdev Goswami said, O king, having thus been praised by the Supreme Personality, who bears the mark of Srivatsa on his chest, Lord Shiva circumambulated him. Then, after taking permission from him, Lord Shiva returned to his abode Kailash, along with his associates. O descendant of Bharat Maharaj, Lord Shiva in jubilation then addressed his wife Bhavani, who is accepted by all authorities as the potency of Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva said, O goddess, you have now seen the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the unborn master of everyone. Although I am one of the principal expansions of his lordship, even I was illusioned by his energy. What then is to be said of others who are fully dependent on Maya? When I finished performing mystic yoga for 1,000 years, you asked me upon whom I was meditating. Now, here is that Supreme Person to whom time has no entrance and who the Vedas cannot understand. Shukdev Goswami said, My dear king, the person who bore the great mountain on his back for the churning of the ocean of milk is the same personality of Godhead known as Sharnadhanva. I have now described to you his prowess. The endeavor of one who constantly hears or describes this narration of the churning of the ocean of milk will never be fruitless. Indeed, chanting the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only means to annihilate all sufferings in this material world. Assuming the form of a young woman and thus bewildering the demons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead distributed to his devotees, the demigods, the nectar produced from the churning of the ocean of milk. Unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always fulfills the desires of his devotees, I offer my respectful obeisances. We will read the Sanskrit for verse 36. Please repeat. Athavagata mahatmya Atmano Jagadatmana Aparigyeya viryasya namene tad uhadbhutam, namene tad uhadbhutam. Synonyms together. Atha, thus, avagata, being fully convinced about, mahatmya, the greatness, atmanaha, of himself, jagadatmanaha, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, aparigyeya viryasya, who has unlimited potency, not mene, that consider that the miraculous activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in bewildering him, uha, certainly, adbhutam, is wonderful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus Lord Shiva could understand his position and that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has unlimited potencies. Having reached this understanding, he was not at all surprised by the wonderful way Lord Vishnu had acted upon him. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as all-powerful because no one can excel him in any activity. In Bhagavad Gita 7:7, the Lord says, Mataha parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. No one can equal the Lord or be greater than him, for he is the master of everyone. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 5:142, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasa Babhritya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the only master of everyone, including even Lord Shiva. What to speak of others? Lord Shiva was already aware of the supreme power of Lord Vishnu, but when he was actually put into bewilderment, he felt proud to have such an exalted master. Jai. This pastime of Lord Shiva being bewildered by Mohini and then coming back to his senses, or becoming equipoised again and then offering prayers to Vishnu. This entire pastime is extremely educational, instructive. And I was thinking about it in two ways. One is that it glorifies Lord Shiva actually. And secondly, it instructs the common living entities, the jivas. Prabhupada notes something very interesting. He said, Lord Shiva, when he was put into bewilderment, he felt proud to have such an exalted master. And even Vishnu says, in the next verse, Lord Vishnu says, seeing Lord Shiva unagitated and unashamed, Lord Vishnu was very pleased. So, a lot of times I've seen that as devotees we may misunderstand this pastime, thinking that Lord Shiva fell prey to Maya, like we fall prey to Maya. But that's not at all the case. Prabhupada highlights this in his purports very clearly. Lord Shiva can never really fall under the influence of Maya. And that's why Vishnu is pleased. He's saying, even though we see Lord Shiva was agitated, and any person, imagine you are such an exalted personality, Lord Shiva, people worship you. Right after Lord Vishnu, you are the greatest entity in existence. And the entire universe worships you, thinks of you as such a worshipable, great, amazing personality, completely detached. You are known for your detachment. You are the husband of Maya, and yet you are unwavered. And being in that position, having such a high position, and then in front of the whole universe, you are running behind a naked woman, and you discharge semen. It can be so shameful for any other person. And Vishnu says, Lord Shiva, you are unashamed. So why was Lord Shiva unashamed or unagitated? Because he was proud that this kind of bewilderment can only be caused by Vishnu. And he still knows, Lord Shiva understands that this was not the influence of Maya, but this was the direct influence of Vishnu through Yoga Maya, through the internal potency. And so he feels proud, he feels happy that I was able to participate in this Leela of Vishnu. Initially, before these verses, we see when Lord Shiva first approached Vishnu with a desire to see the beautiful form of the Lord. One may ask that why did Lord Shiva even desire to see a beautiful female form? Why was he even interested? And so Srila Prabhupada says in one of his purports, Lord Shiva's desiring to see Lord Vishnu reveal the most attractive and beautiful form of a woman was certainly a joking affair. Lord Shiva knew that he could not be agitated by any so-called beautiful woman. The Daityas may have been bewildered, he thought, but since even the demigods could not be agitated, what to speak of me, who am the best of all the demigods? However, because Lord Shiva wanted to see Lord Vishnu's form as a woman, Lord Vishnu decided to impersonate a woman and show him a form that would immediately put him in an ocean of lusty desires. And so, any Leela or any pastime that happens that we read usually has an internal and an external reason why the Lord performs the pastime. And it seems that the internal reason why Vishnu performed this pastime was to have an intimate, loving, friendly interaction with Lord Shiva. Because Prabhupada says it was a joking affair when Lord Shiva asked Lord Vishnu to reveal his beautiful woman form. It was a joking affair. So it seems like it was a casual, friendly affair between Lord Shiva and Vishnu. And at the same time, the external reason could be to instruct all the jivas, all the devotees. Prabhupada says in another purport, the illusory material energy is represented by Durga Devi, who is the wife of Girisha, Lord Shiva. Durga Devi could not captivate Lord Shiva's mind. So, the personification of Maya Devi, Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva, she herself throughout her lifetime could not captivate Lord Shiva in a way, could not bewilder his attention or his senses. Lord Shiva was always equipoised in meditation on Lord Krishna, never swayed away by his emotions or senses or lusty desires towards Durga, towards Maya Devi. So, this kind of makes us understand that what happened right now in the case of Mohini Murti was something very, very special. Something very special orchestrated specifically for this purpose of bewildering Lord Shiva. And Lord Vishnu was gravely thinking before a verse comes where Lord Vishnu, it is said that Lord Vishnu was in grave thought trying to think of a way, how can I bewilder Lord Shiva? It's impossible to bewilder Lord Shiva. And he had to use his Yoga Maya potency. That's the only way he could bewilder Lord Shiva. And another purport, Prabhupada says, indeed, everyone is fully captivated by her activities, Maya's activities. Lord Shiva was not to be captivated by the external potency, but because Lord Vishnu wanted to captivate him also, he exhibited his internal potency to act the way that his external potency acts to captivate ordinary living entities. And so in this verse, we see Lord Shiva therefore says, finally he understood what's going on. And it is said, Athavagata Mahatmya Atmano. that he understood Mahatmya, greatness, Atmano himself. He understood his own greatness, Lord Shiva. He understood his own position. He knew, not out of pride, but just out of fact, he knew his great position of being untouched by Maya. But because he was still bewildered, he then, it is a Jagad Atmana Aparigyeya Viryasya, that he then understood the even greater position of Lord Vishnu. Mahatmya Atmano, I am great, Jagad Atmana, but Vishnu is greatest. And in position to Vishnu, he understood in relation to Vishnu, he understood his own position. And that's why he felt so proud to be the servant to be the devotee of such a great master. So this could be the internal reason or the pastime between Shiva and Vishnu. However, there is some learning, some education for common people, common living entities like us. It is said that when Mohini was running through the forests and mountains and lakes and rivers and gardens, trying to escape Lord Shiva's embrace, and Lord Shiva was running behind Mohini, it is said that Mohini purposefully walked by the ashramas of sages. And when the sages saw that Lord Shiva is running behind this woman, they felt bewildered that what's going on, this personality that we worship, even he is running behind a woman, what's going on? And so there was a deep instruction for all of us, all living entities, even sages of the highest caliber, that do not consider Maya to be a joke. Maya is extremely strong, and any personality, even Lord Shiva, can come under its influence. Even though he did not, but it appeared as if he was under the influence of Maya. And so there was a deep instruction that don't play with Maya. Don't take it lightly. Of course, sexual attraction is the strongest allurement of Maya, and therefore this pastime portrays that aspect of Maya. But any aspect of Maya or any kind of attraction of Maya can affect devotees. And so there's an instruction to be careful from all different aspects and forms and attractions and allurements of Maya. We see that initially when Lord Shiva approached Vishnu, it was with a loving desire to see the form of the Lord, to see the pastimes of the Lord. But soon after, he was bewildered by what Vishnu presented, the illusory energy. And that's what happens in our lives many times also as devotees. When we are practicing, when we are on the path, on the journey, trying to attain Krishna prema, love for Krishna, Krishna may present so many different allurements on the way, on the path, in many different forms. Can be external in the form of wealth, in the form of material success, position, power, prestige. Or if we think that we are living very simply externally, some devotees, we may think we don't have many resources, we are living simply, we are coming to the temple, we live in an ashram, or we live close to the temple, like in my case. And so we may think that, the external effects of Maya may not be so present in my life, but then Maya acts internally in so many different ways. One may give a class, or one may sing a bhajan or kirtan on Sunday, or one may make nice bhoga for the deities, and then one may receive appreciation for the service they have performed. That, oh Prabhu, Mataji, you sang so well, you cooked such a nice feast, it's so delicious. And then if we take that appreciation to heart, then Maya may take shelter in our heart in the form of prestige, and then that will be our the reason or the cause of our fall down, our bewilderment. And so Krishna presents these different allurements of Maya, and it becomes more and more subtle as we grow in spiritual life. As devotees say in their experience, when we speak to senior devotees, when you speak to sannyasis and brahmacharis and renounced people, we see that they are away from the external forms of Maya. They may not have wealth, they may not have a family, they may not have any kind of any possessions and so on. But then when they open up, they realize and they share that how the effect of Maya, the impact of Maya is more and more internal, is more and more subtle, form of ego, in the form of envy, in the form of jealousy, prestige, desire for prestige, desire for recognition, desire for power, position, so many different ways. And so through this pastime of attracting Lord Shiva through the most common and the most powerful aspect of Maya, which is lust, Krishna is establishing a very strong instruction for the whole world, for us jivas, that don't take it lightly. Please be very careful. Prabhupada said once that the trouble with his disciples is that they are not sufficiently afraid of Maya. And how many times do we actually prove him right? Time and again, we prove him right. We think we are sadhakas, we are chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, we are protected. Which is true, there is some protection, but protection doesn't happen forcefully without our will. There will always be free will and choice. And so we may take certain things lightly. I'm a devotee, I can do this. I'm a devotee, I won't be affected so much by it. The holy name will take care of it. Krishna will take care of it. I don't need to do this. I don't need to follow these certain rules. I don't need to do certain things. We may take things casually sometimes, but it is very important to actually be afraid of Maya. Very important to be very afraid of Maya. Because she's looking for the smallest, tiniest hole to enter our hearts. That's her job, to keep us in this material world, or to test us to the limit, to see how much do we actually desire Krishna. Tamal Krishna Goswami says in a lecture that a devotee is someone who has turned their back to Maya and has walked away. So that is the test, like how much can we actually resist the temptations, and how much are we actually not attracted naturally by these temptations, which comes naturally through devotional service. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur actually says in an essay he wrote that sense control is not really a devotional affair. That external sense control, the activities or the rules and regulations we follow to control our senses is not really a spiritual affair directly. It has nothing to do with bhakti. And he says that when one intensely and fully engages in devotional service, naturally, as a result, sense control automatically happens. But that doesn't mean that we completely rely on that and don't make any efforts to control our senses or to resist temptation, because we are not in a position that our bhajan is not that strong that we can completely rely on that at this point. And so there has to be a balance between resisting temptations, being afraid of Maya, and also wholeheartedly surrendering to the power of bhajan, power of Harinam. Duryodhan in Mahabharata, Duryodhan and Arjuna both go to Krishna right before the war, and Krishna asks both of them, what do you want from me? And Duryodhana says, I want your armies, I want your power. And Krishna says, I want you, Krishna. It doesn't matter if you come without weapons, if you come with a vow to not even fight in the war, but I want you. And so that choice is something that is available to us every single day, every single minute of our existence. Do we want Krishna's energies? Do we want Krishna's opulence and his glittering external energy, or do we want Krishna? That choice between Krishna's energies and Krishna is there, and that is a choice that devotees have to make at every single step, Maya or Krishna. So that is a beautiful instruction that Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu leave us through these pastimes. And we pray as humble servants of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, as following in his footsteps, that as he was confident in his position against Maya, but he was also deeply proud and happy to be bewildered by Yoga Maya potency of Krishna. We pray as sadhakas that someday, by his mercy, following in his footsteps, we may also someday be able to take shelter, complete shelter of Yoga Maya, and be confident in our position against the external energy of the Lord Mahamaya. Thank you very much. It's 8:40. We will end here. Thank you for listening patiently and attentively, and we can take any comments or questions. Drishta and Draupadi. Okay.
Hare Krishna. So I was asking, sometimes there are options that look Krishna conscious, and then options that are actually Krishna conscious. For example, sometimes we would say, oh, I'm starting to burn out. I need to, not do service for a few days. And sometimes that's our mind going, oh, I just want to enjoy. And sometimes we're actually like, I will be more Krishna conscious if I take time away from service. So I'm wondering, how do we find when it's falsely Krishna conscious and when it's actually Krishna conscious?
Yeah. I think the way sometimes it helps me is thinking of that verse that smartavyam satatam Vishnur vismartavyam na chatuchat, that sometimes you have to think that what really in the long term or in the short term helps you remember Krishna or remain in Krishna consciousness. It may be a case that you have a daily service and we feel burnt out, and then we may need a break. And then it may seem that we are taking a break from service, so it cannot be Krishna conscious, because Krishna consciousness means being engaged in service. But Krishna consciousness also means, as Prabhupada said, that you have to take care of your health first. And so taking care of health also means taking care of your mental health, your emotional health. Because if we are burnt out, we may give up the service altogether. So it's better to take that break and get back to service. So I think ultimately if the long term purpose or goal is still to please Krishna, we can try to see how this will please Krishna. Maybe not now, maybe not in the moment, but okay, this will help me do this, and then this will please Krishna ultimately. This will help me remain in Krishna consciousness. And so if we can make that connection, then we can understand that it's Krishna conscious. Another thing is that we can take guidance. That's why we have this community. We can take guidance from our mentors, gurus, senior devotees, that this is an idea I have. Does it make sense? Is it Krishna conscious even to make that choice? I think taking guidance from devotees and trying to make that connection. These are something that practically helps me. And then in if there's a situation where we have taken a vow, like chanting 16 rounds, and we think that I'm feeling burnt out, let me not chant 16 rounds today, then that is obviously would not be the right thing to do, because that then falls under the purview of that vow we have taken. So things like that, obviously, we cannot compromise on. But then other things like services or things like that, we can take guidance, I feel, from devotees and make a choice. Yes, Prabhupada Premataji.
Hari. It was a really interesting question, very practical question that just asked. I remember when I was a young devotee, I was going out on book distribution every day, like 6 days a week. And then, week after week, month after month, year after year, you get a little burnt out. And so one devotee said, they said, a change is as good as a rest. So that was helpful because when I was going out in book distribution, if I wouldn't go out, then if I didn't have anything to do, then I would feel like, all right, I'm just in Maya, just like spacing out.
Yeah.
But if it was then I just had to talk to the temple authorities about changing my service a couple of days a week or something and getting different service. And then after a couple of days of doing something else, then I was like fired up to go back out again. So I think that in Krishna consciousness is like that. When we feel like we need a break, it's not that like just doing nothing is not going to be helpful, because like Prabhupada said, idle mind is a devil's workshop, but it's just like do something different. Just switch it up, do a different service. So and we used to, so on the day off, then we would, like on Sunday was our day off from book distribution, so then we would go and help cook the Sunday feast or something, and then you'd be ready for book distribution the next day. Especially when you're young, it's like it's not usually that you're physically exhausted, it's more like you're mentally overwhelmed, because the body is strong, but the mind is like going nuts. So sometimes you just need to switch it up so your mind's like, whew, something new, or enthusiastic about some new service, some new association, and just make it different.
Very practical. Thank you. And also Krishna acknowledges in Bhagavad Gita that regulated recreation is allowed and necessary. So what that recreation looks like is something that we may have to, consult with devotees. But it's needed.
And if the body does need to rest, then still like figure something out, like do some writing, or, work on a website, or, do some social media posts, or, something that you can just sit in a chair and do. And rest your body as well.
Yeah. Thank you. I think Draupadi, did you have...
Hi, Prabhu. I was thinking about Krishna being pleased that Shiva wasn't ashamed, because I feel like that's one thing that really gets people, is when you mess up, then you're like super ashamed about it, and then you won't get help. Like, I remember there was a period where I was having a really hard time chanting all 16 of my rounds. Like, I think it was a solid like 3 weeks to a month where I just could not get 16 every day for no valid reason that I felt. And I was just so ashamed of myself that I didn't tell anyone or like do anything about it. And then finally my guru reached out to me. He's like, "How are you doing? I haven't heard from you in a minute." I'm like, "I'm struggling." And then I finally got help. And like, I'm fine again. But because I was so ashamed of just like falling victim to Maya, I didn't do anything to try to get out of it. So it's nice to see Krishna glorify Shiva, like, because Shiva understood it was Yoga Maya, but he totally could have been like bewildered, like, "Oh my God, I was bewildered by a woman," but he understood. So like all of us, it's like, oh, we got bewildered by Maya. That kind of makes sense. She's very bewildering. Now we just gotta like work to be unbewildered. That's one thing I was thinking of.
Yeah. I was really thinking about this earlier, that it is so difficult to fathom the consciousness of Lord Shiva in this pastime. Like I said earlier, he is such an exalted, great personality being worshipped by the entire universe practically. And he has this public display of weakness, perceived weakness. And yet he was so detached to that idea of being ashamed, or how people looked at me, how I looked, how people perceived me. I'm supposed to be this great mentor and devotee, and then what will